Hello and welcome to this week's installment of a conversation with the pastors at St. Luke's. I'm Pastor Sally and I'm joined today by Pastor Stephen. And as we gather today, we trust that all of you receive the weekly messenger and just wanted to come together today in a place of prayer. There is lots going on in the world. There's a lot of things heavy on our hearts. And we lift up those who are mourning, and there are people in our congregation who are in a deep sense of mourning right now. We learned on Sunday morning of the death of Carol Tice, who was a longtime member, and today the death of Andrew Jostin. He is the son of Carolyn and Lee Jostin, who are members at St. Luke's as well.
Yes, and we will have a prayer at the end of this conversation together. Also, we're in the midst of Lent, and I pulled out one of my favorite, might even be in the library, but Frederick Buechner is a wonderful spiritual writer. And from his book, Whistling in the Dark, an ABC theologized, he has a wonderful little section on Lent. And since we're in the middle of Lent, which is sometimes known as the springtime of the soul, let me share Frederick Buechner on Lent. In many cultures, there is an ancient custom of giving a tenth of each year's income to some holy use. For Christians, to observe the 40 days of Lent is to do the same thing with roughly a tenth of our year's days. After being baptized by John in the River Jordan, Jesus went off alone into the wilderness where he spent 40 days, asking himself the question what it meant to be Jesus. During Lent, Christians are supposed to ask one way or another what it means to be themselves. If you had to bet everything you have on whether there is a God or whether there isn't, which side would get your money and why? When you look at your face in the mirror, what do you see? What do you see in it that you most like, and what do you see in it that you most deplore? If you had only one last message to leave to the handful of people who are important to you, what would it be in 25 words or less? Of all the things you have done in your life, which is the one you would most like to undo? Which is the one that makes you happiest to remember? If there's any person in the world or any cause that, if circumstances called for it, you would be willing to die for? If this were the last day of your life, what would you do with it? To hear yourself try to answer questions like these is to begin to hear something, not only of who you are, but of both what you are becoming and what you are failing to become. It can be a pretty depressing business, all in all, but if sackcloth and ashes are at the start of it, something like Easter may be at the end. I like that. And we are taking a collective springtime of the soul in our listening process. As we do this vision process, I want you to know that I will be selecting a vision team this week. Hopefully when that team's in place, we will be setting up opportunities for the team to be doing maybe 30 or 40 one-on-ones with you. And you'll have an opportunity, if you'd like to do a one-on-one with somebody from the vision team, to do that. And then 5 or 6 listening posts where we could do this listening in small groups. We will keep you posted on how this is going. I think it is a time for introspection leading to how will I live my life as a disciple? How will we live our lives as Christ's body in the world? So Sally, look forward to being with you on that journey. And I understand.
We're ever grateful that you are a part of our journey in this We all look forward to what will blossom next at St. Luke's as we gather together to make fertile the soil for this springtime of the soul, but also at St. Luke's.
And I understand that a funeral for Carol will be this coming Saturday.
Correct, at 11, with a in-state visitation beginning at 10, as well as Friday night, there being a visitation at Ryan Park Funeral Home.
Well, let me offer the beautiful words of the commendation, which we will hear on Saturday, and which I pray that I hear before I die,
Right.
even as then these beautiful words are spoken as we're released into God's grace. Into your hands, O merciful Savior, we commend your servant Andrew. We commend your servant Carol. Acknowledge, we humbly beseech you, a sheep of your own flock, a lamb of your own flock, a sinner of your own redeeming. Receive them into the arms of your mercy, into the blessed rest of everlasting peace, and into the glorious company of the saints in light. Rest eternal grant them, O Lord, and may light perpetual shine upon them. Peace.
Amen. Peace.